Oh,
Oh, that's
that's,
overhead door company.
Oh, yeah, it's fixing the door. Right.
He's doing inspection of all of our overhead doors. Making some repairs, making some stuff. They were up in Flin Flon doing some work, so. Yes, come on.
You're good? All right, Jen's good. Okay, let's call the meeting to order, please.
Meeting called to order.
Should be a resolution to adopt the agenda. Is that a new item on there?
It is not.
So it'll be as amended?
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved by myself, second by Councilor Lane, that resolved that the agenda be adopted as amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. You two on the phone?
Aye.
Aye.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Better or worse?
Better.
Okay. Cool. Confirmation of the minutes.
So moved by myself, second by Councilor Lane, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting and the committee of the whole of October 26, 2020 be hereby approved. All statutory declarations have been complied with.
Alrighty. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the phone?
Aye.
I'll abstain. Sorry.
Okay, you'll abstain?
Yeah, I was at the last meeting.
Okay.
You got his crayons.
Citizens period. The Niven Cemetery bylaw.
She's not coming
She's
tonight.
not coming. Okay. Moves us all the way down to 621, public safety walking path.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Ward, be resolved that council agrees to leave the walking paths A and B located on the west side of Federal Crescent closed and reevaluate the closure in spring of 2021. And I believe this issue was came up, the letter was written, thanking council for closing paths for the interim. And we're going to continue to do that until evaluated in the spring.
Question?
I have a question. And again, I'm declaring a conflict, but were you meaning only 2 walking paths to remain closed and not the third? Was council meaning that?
I think whatever is closed was to stay closed.
Oh, your resolution doesn't show that.
It's not the first resolution said.
Yeah, it was correct, this was 3, right? It was
A, B, and C. Oh, yeah, walking
The
path,
way,
the walking path A, B,
or the way
and C.
that can read to me is that walkway A, B, the two on the west side of Cudmore, the one to Traeger and the one to Rotary Park would stay closed, and then walkway C would be opened up. That's how it reads.
That's how it reads. My understanding is whatever's closed now would stay closed.
Yeah.
Everybody's, that's what we all understood?
Yeah.
So we'll need to amend this to include walking paths A, B, and C? So who's got the resolution?
You want me to read it again? or-
Yeah, why not?
Sure. So, moved by myself, second by Councilor Ward, be resolved that council agreed to leave walking paths A, B, and C located on the west side, or I'll just say A, B, and C, closed to reevaluate the closure in the spring of 2020.
Okay. Question, all those in favor? On the phone? On the phone?
Aye.
Abstain? Finance and review, 641, surplus items.
So is regarding a few things that went to auction, moved by myself, moved by Councilor Ward, seconded by myself, whereas in accordance with policy GG-120, surplus equipment, a notice of sale was advertised in the Alaska Times and posted on the town's website for the sale of surplus equipment. Therefore, be resolved, the council accept the bids as per attached Schedule A.
Question, all those in favor? On the phone?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Alrighty, the letter of support for North American UV Rail.
Resolution number 2020-181, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Blaine. Resolved that the council approves the attached letter of support requiring the North American RV Rally through Manitoba 2021.
Alrighty. Question on this one, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Payroll and accounts.
Resolution number 2020-182, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Blaine. Resolved that council authorize the following accounts. General checking number 25509 to 25552 and 25554 plus 25576 in the amount of $616,141.86. EFTs in the amount of $61,971.49.
All right, any discussion on the check register?
I just have one question regarding the, that number account.
758,
Yeah.
airport electrical service. It's a little bit more because it's a specialist guy, he comes in and fixes the lights and several more.
Like, what would be the scope of that, just so I'm clear?
This particular one, I can't.
No, but is that like a day's worth of work or a week's worth of
No,
work?
it was
or a month's worth?
significantly more than that. Yeah, he was up for several days and was traveling a lot.
Where does he come from?
Winnipeg.
Okay.
I just had a question that related to business licenses and obeying or respecting town bylaws. So all of these folks that are either in the town of the Paw or provide service to, I don't mean vendors, right? So I don't mean if you bought something from Costco. But if you have a service supplier who is working in the town of the Paw, do they need a business license? And do they follow town bylaws? And do all these folks have business licenses?
Offhand, I don't know, and I'm not, I think in the past, what we've tried to do is when a contractor's working in town, they would obtain a license. Perhaps Jen can answer that better than me. Does it say strictly in there that they have to have one when they're working in town? Yeah, so what our enforcement on it probably isn't as strong as it should be. But again, we don't have a bylaw officer. We don't have anyone that's sort of working in this. When we do our own RFPs and tenders, we try and make sure that they do. So when we're issuing a check, we try and enforce it where we can. There's probably people falling between the cracks still.
So most of these folks would have went through purchasing, probably?
A good deal of them, yeah. So like Daniel Trucking, who we would have bought our Jetstone from, it was right in the tender that he had to have one. And I don't personally follow up, but it's in there, right? So
Is there any way to incorporate that with what Eldrin does to ensure that it's part of the tender package?
Yeah, absolutely.
When he's doing the scoring, yes, the way Daniel has the necessary license and
Sure, yeah. Where there is some things that float past him. Let me think of something. There's probably a way to get at this from a few angles to make sure it's still done.
Okay, because I know there are some businesses in town that sort of ignore town bylaws.
There is.
And if they have a business license, then it should be conditional upon obeying town bylaws. If they don't obey town bylaws, they should not be licenses.
Alright.
Any other questions?
I have one
Yep.
other question, just again, a curiosity. BH Safety Services and Consulting, what would that be?
I'm not sure offhand, that was a smaller one.
Checks are in front of you. Checks are waiting at basket.
The,
I have one, while we trying to find that. First is the Google and then taxes.
I'm sorry, Carrie, what did you say?
Prairie, wheel, and manufacturing.
Prairie Wheel, okay.
Prairie Wheel is the tires for our loader.
Tires for the loader.
Thank you.
Fire gloves and some extinguisher detergent was the BHC.
Okay.
Any other questions on the check register? Well, it was moved by Bill, seconded by Larry. Trevor? Okay. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carrie and John? Will Carrie abstain? Aye. It's Carrie. Carrie, are you in?
Counselor Atkinson, yes, I abstain.
All right, Carrie. Six, 4, checks and conflicts.
Resolution number 2020-183, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Ward. Be it resolved that council authorize the following accounts. General check number 25553 in the amount of $1,909.43.
Alrighty, question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstained?
Aye.
Chad?
I'm not abstaining, I'm voting in favor. Aye.
Okay. Carrie? Alright, committee reports. Museum board.
Meeting tomorrow, so I get report from the last council from the last one, but we have a meeting via Zoom tomorrow.
Chamber of Commerce.
There's no meeting planned, other than the AGM, which I believe is the 17th of November? 18th, or 17th or 18th, yeah, coming up.
Sustainable Forest, meeting coming up in December. Citizens on Patrol.
No meeting because of COVID will be later on, I guess.
CDC.
No meeting planned, other than we have something coming up next week, virtually. Correct? Yeah.
Destination Marketing.
We had a meeting, a couple of weeks ago. Just kind of getting a house number after we didn't really have a board. We appointed a new board member, paid out some final payments, and then just kind of figure out a way to pay our path forward. So that's basically it. We got another meeting coming up next week.
Cedar Lake.
Nothing to report.
Recycling Board.
Meeting probably at the end of the month.
The Paw Community Review.
We had a meeting, the AGM meeting. There's been a shift in some of the directors with the TPCRC. Shireen stepped down from the chair. Trent Allen is now the new chair.
Dave Noble is vice chair, treasurer is still vacant, and Shireen moved to secretary. Other than that, all the other board members are still the same. And I asked them whether I managed to sit with the town or not, if I could stay on the board with them as well. Because I know we're coming up for new positions or new committees.
I did have a report from CDC, my apologies, I'm having a hard time downloading it, so if you give me a couple seconds, I'll give you guys an update.
Library board.
We haven't had a meeting, but I would like to welcome Caitlin Henderson. She has been hired as the new library administrator. And Lorraine will continue to help Caitlin with training and welcome Caitlin.
Scan, no meetings coming up in December.
December.
Yeah. Kelsey Planning District, we have a meeting coming up in December. It's a deja vu. KSD committee,
On hold, there's nothing, the COVID stuff that's, didn't want to actually meet. And I do, yes, sorry, so on the doctors, return service agreement, so they've been reaching out to the doctors to get an update on how their transition has been into the community. So everything we're hearing is very positive. The Shop Local program is still ongoing and working with the CRC. Tourism and branding, they met with Travel Manitoba, PBDC, Indigenous Tours Association of Canada to begin planning the fundamentals to support the place brand for our area. And the ongoing project with the down payment assistance program, they placed one more recipient now, so they have 5 out of 8 people have actually purchased homes, which is good news. And I guess myself and Trevor will be looking for council to put some thoughts into if there's anything specific the CDC, or you're looking for the CDC for 2021, because we're just getting that ready. So if there's something specific you want us to focus on, let us know.
And there's one more thing, an update will be coming up about the rapid, government is coming out with some major funding for rapid housing initiatives, especially now due with COVID-19.
Yeah.
So we are, Jackie within the last little while just send out a lot of information and trying to figure out where CDC, the town can fit in there and see what opportunities there. So she had a meeting today with somebody, so there's more to come on that. So apparently there's quite a bit of money there.
That's it for community reports, I believe. So 8.1, closure of town facilities due to COVID.
Resolution number 2020-184, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Ward. Be resolved due to COVID-19, the following town-operated facilities will be closed to the public with a tentative reopen date of Monday, November 16th, 2020, depending on an improved assessment of the COVID-19 situation in the town of the Pas at that time. Town Garage, Wellness Center, RH Johnson Arena, the Winton Pool, and Sam Mullen Museum.
Alrighty. Question, if we decide to extend it, do we have to do another resolution?
Yes. I mean, you could change this resolution right now if you want to extend it further. I think that's a topic for discussion.
Could it be until further notice? And then we can reopen it when we're ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody have an issue with that?
Could you repeat that, please?
Well, rather than it,
Yeah.
well, what I was asking, Carrie, is the resolution states Monday, November 16th, but I was asking if it could be until further notice, with the idea being that it'd be November 16th. But just in case it isn't, then we don't have to do this again.
Further to that, I don't know if it's the time to have a discussion on it or not, but like the pool, obviously, I'm not sure, you know, the other cities would be doing. If we shut it down for our maintenance or shut it down for you to drain the water, is there significant savings there for heat on that? I'm just thinking in the near future. No, there's not.
Our
Because of the
contract,
agreement.
yeah, our agreement with KSD is pretty fixed in terms of how we pay things, so, potentially some staff savings as we shuffle people around.
We got another chemical, and we got, I don't know, if it's, or is this the right time to do a shutdown at all, or what do you want to do?
Depends if we want to reopen it again, I guess is the question. I mean, long-term for this year, I guess I had this slated as a discussion in camera too, because it starts to concern people's jobs and, you know, we left the futures, I don't want to put anyone on the spot in terms of their opinions on this. I think that pool especially is a good example of a place where, you know, maybe we need to consider a longer-term closure.
Okay, so would the mover and seconder be okay if we edited it to be until further notice? Yeah. And then we can, then it's just an email we can change. Okay. All righty, question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Chad?
All right, sorry.
And then I'm assuming the next one is this one, it's not on my agenda.
Correct. So we did get a bit of correspondence today from the province, from Minister Squire's office about some funding that may be available by application for duties along the bylaw stream to enforce the Public Health Act related to COVID. So, you know, issuing fines for individuals or organizations that are not complying with the health orders. There's some money in terms of per hour when they would reimburse us for employees working on it, and some training involved. It is by application. The reason, I mean, it sounds good, but you know, council should consider this, I guess, from both angles. One is, you know, this is a chance to potentially do a little bit of, make a little bit of a difference with our staff in terms of, you know, making sure that people aren't out there being bad in the community potentially. It also takes a certain measure of responsibility on the town that is currently in the provincial domain. So just to weigh it both ways. We're not guaranteed this money, we have to apply. You know, it'll take a little bit of time to put it together, but if council's in favor of this, sure, we can put that together.
Basically, they cover 100% of the cost?
Yeah, and we have, like I said, we have some employees that potentially will be vacant in terms of, you know, potentially following up on this or filling in this role in the short term.
Personally, I think we should apply myself.
Do you think, Brandon, that along the way, this could be the beginning of the CSO program by these people who are going to get trained? And there's nothing in here that says how long this is going to be in place, but I've had it for a while. And at the end of this, we could have these people moving into the CSO program after?
Maybe, depends on the applicants. I feel like potentially the individuals that we would be relocating from internal might not be the best fit for the CSO afterwards. However, without going through this process, I don't know.
Right. I just
It could be a transition. It may work out.
Did they say, did they give I don't remember looking, they give you a deadline on when they let you know?
The
In a
deadline
day
is
or
at
two.
live.
Yeah.
What you have to submit by the 13th, and
Funding ends 2020.
it's within a day or two that they'll let you know if you've been successful. I'm sure it said that in there.
Andre, you have a question?
So far, we're till February, right?
Goes to February
For
2021.
now, I guess. I guess we'll see how things go.
Question?
Yeah, so I guess I'm a little bit like this fresh on our plate here, but So thinking ahead here, if we did have this program, are we really gonna enforce it?
Well, again, that's a question, how strong of enforcement does council want to see, just blatant?
Well, and I guess that's my question, is that there's great to have a program, but what are we gonna do with it, and who's gonna do it? Because that's a pretty uncomfortable job when you're gonna now ask an employee to go out and start enforcing community members to hand out tickets. So, I mean, I agree with the mayor that it's something that we should be doing, but I'm not sure how we would implement it, and that's what concerns me.
I guess for me, I would on this post as a community council position, and then if we could do that, and kind of, we could do it relying on hopefully getting the funding, I know we have to budgeted for, or, you know what I mean, that way then there's a progression for it versus just having somebody enforcing COVID-19 and that's it.
Yeah, that's my concern though, Trevor, is the scope of it. So I'm a big mean guy that does this all the time, and I'm gonna go around and give Herb a ticket and give Bill a ticket and run around all day long and give out a bunch of tickets. And
I guess the direction could be, I mean, just like any enforcement officer, you don't have to give a ticket. You can also say, hey, this is what we're doing here right now, guys. This is not right, we move along, whatever. I mean, you could.
okay.
You could, that's kind of how I would approach it, because you want to go around. Because it's not like it's a $50 ticket. It's $1,000. So
Right.
unless there's some, you know, obvious infractions like a house party or something like that, where there's many people gathering, you could find the homeowner or something, but I don't know. I don't like the short and the dirty of it in terms of, yeah, here you go, here's possibly somebody getting a worker that doesn't necessarily want position, but we're giving them a, here you go, you can kind of do this thing. I like it if you posted it, but again, I know it's not a budgeted item as a community.
But in a personal longer sense, doesn't feel in place of duty. There is the regulatory authority, so the RCP and everything else that you can pass it on. Like, that's part of their job, standing by province to do this. Like the conservation officers and the RCMP and the highway traffic people and different people that are all mandated by the province. We would have our person here, and that person, I guess if they felt that they weren't comfortable, they could just pass it on to the employment authority.
I guess my only comment would be, Mayor, is that I support having something like this, but I would think that we would need to put some framework on it before we implemented it, so that we have, it's not just something that's put on somebody's plate as a side job, or it creates us more headaches. So I do believe it's up to us as community leaders to make sure people are socially responsible and to protect each other, but at the same time.
My thing also is with the amount of the fines at being $1,250 for personal and what is it, $5,000 for basically, I think, commercial or corporations. The only ones that are actually going to get fined or charged is people that are business owners, people that can afford $1,200 fines. You're not going to charge the street people that are hanging around inside a bank or licking door handles $1,200 fines. It's not going to go over.
You folks on the phone, any thoughts?
My thoughts are, my thoughts to that is, I don't think it matters whether or not it's a corporation, if it's an individual. If you're in violation, then a fine is to be distributed. The comments that Andre had, they're valid. We need to figure out what it is that we are going to do and how how we're going to participate in it, because we need to make this work, and we need to flatten the curve.
Chad?
Yeah, I would be in favor of deploying this program in some way, shape, or form, but I don't know how to roll it out, and I don't, without some type of plan in front of me, I can't say that I'm in favor of it moving forward, but I just don't know what the plan would be. So, I definitely like to see it move forward, and we can see about, staff and administration, some type of working plan.
Yeah, my personal feelings is I think we should move forward with it. I'm hoping that the province has some sort of framework in place that we would sort of just adopt. Generally speaking, in my opinion, the province has done a terrible job managing this whole situation, and they seem to be grasping at straws. Really, this is a provincial responsibility, this whole thing, but clearly they're not ready for it, so they're passing it off to the municipalities. We need to do something, we need to try to flatten this curve as best we can. Given that we have some of the highest per capita rates in Manitoba, I'm very confident they will be approved, and if we're not approved, then somebody will have to explain to me why not. And my gut, after watching Dr. Nurson today, my gut tells me we're going to see some firmer restrictions in the next few days. That's just my gut. But I think we should move forward with it, and hopefully the province has some framework that we can adopt. If they have any thought into this at all.
So just so, like you said, so this is really just the motion or
To us.
to get to put in an application.
Correct. So we can debate some of the
Yeah.
details afterwards. once we-
Okay.
Would we have, I mean, I don't know the budget line, so would we have any money to actually offer a community college? Because the reason why I'm saying that is that for this to be enforceable, if you did get a ticket, don't you have to have don't you ever have to be like a bylaw enforcement officer? Yeah, tickets, because I'm just picturing like, so, hey Trevor, you shouldn't be next to him. Well, go out. Okay, just get back here, sir, get back here, sir. Not that we're going to be arresting and pinning people down, giving them tickets, but if you don't have any, if there's no real, if you're not, it's not enforceable in other ways, like, I just kind of see the community council being the way, and that way then we can do more things, and then you're gonna get a higher quality candidate, I think, that may be interested in the position versus, who's gonna apply for this?
I would agree with you. I think that if we had a community council in place, this would be a good role for it. Because we don't, right now, this being fully funded, if we're able to use our current staffing, really that just, that'll help us in terms of it with the current deficit we're probably running. If we were to proceed with hiring a new individual, when we're talking about, potential other staffing issues here, or that might be perceived wrong. But I think in terms of the CSO program, I think we'd be putting a cart in front of a horse there. We're not quite into that yet. And if we hired someone, and we could do it, I'm not saying we could do it, but to get the training associated with that CSO program, we needed to have an agreement with the province. So we might be sending someone in blind a little bit there. Again, we could get them to do this part only with the plans to transition, and that's how we could hire them.
And this is only 90 days.
And this is, whatever.
I don't know, I'd be better off just saying go with Commissioner, and if we can get 90 or 120 days of their salary paid, you're gonna get a little bit of bang for your buck. Like, I don't know if you think we're gonna be hiring somebody.
My other concern, I don't know if, how long that CSO program takes to get going. Obviously, there's a few levels of government involved. If there's delays on that part, potentially we'll have a staff with it we're carrying with potentially no duties. If this ends and that starts.
So I think we should put in the application.
Yeah.
Once we're approved, and if we see if there's any framework, then we'll go from there.
Yep.
Are we good with that? Somebody got a motion?
Yeah, so moved by myself, second by Councilor Lane, whereas the municipal enforcement support program provides municipalities with the financial and other supports through the province of Manitoba to enable successful local enforcement of public health orders as it's related to COVID-19. And whereas the program recognized that one of the municipality's primary purpose is to maintain a safe workplace in communities, and that the local leaders are well placed and take meaningful action to protect their residents during this public health emergency. Therefore, be it resolved that council submit the municipal enforcement support program intake form on behalf of the town of Levon. Oh, I guess that was my finish.
What's that?
Yeah. Sure, why not?
What is it?
All right, any question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Citizens period. We got no citizens unless somebody's, no. We got any viewers?
4,
4.
and I'm one of them.
Well, to the 3 who are online, thank you for joining us. I hope it was stimulating. We have nothing for committee of the whole, so motion to